Welcome back to the channel. This is the new Norrie factory workshop. So we've been off the channel now for about a week and a half moving in. I sort of filmed the move because it was pretty chaotic, but we've sort of been blessed with this workshop. It coincided with a move we did outside of the channel, and we couldn't be more proud. But as you can see, the workshop's huge, it's way bigger. We've got part storage facility up the top over there on the mezzanine floor. We've got the Mustang over here. I haven't got anything planned for this side of the workshop yet, other than we're probably going to get some nice big stainless benches up the front. Probably put in a bit more of a fabrication area, because that's currently outsourcing my fabrication is killing me cost-wise, and I want to learn how to do it anyway. I do have a good baseline of fabrication, so it shouldn't take too much. Well, say it like it's something else. It is a proper full trade, and I do respect that, and it is going to take a bit of training. But let's check it out. So this is the hoist from the old workshop. We simply moved it over. It's a really good hoist for a light, small vehicle. So for something like the 32, this hoist is perfect. It's classed as a low ceiling hoist, but that doesn't mean it lifts quite high. It just means it'll fit under a low ceiling, which isn't a problem here. That's the hoist. That's perfect there. It's in a good spot. Now we've moved all my special tools over, which are in this area here. We've got the seats here to go back in the 32, so I've just had them washed and prepped and ready to go back in. Here's all our HKS, GK Tech, all the parts for the builds that we're working on, which is the 32 now. So blow-off valve, air filter, all your GK Tech bushes, silicone hose joiners, which we don't use. I've got two new Walbro big boy fuel pumps. They're not 460s, they must be 540s or something, so we've got two of those to go in. I've got my stainless steel pipe here to do the wastegates. Got a couple of spaces down there in case we put on the TE37s. And yeah, so just sort of parts. Here we've got our work products, which you know on the channel I love. The beauty of the work products is when we run out, we have someone come around and fill them up. So they're good, they are expensive, but you pay for what you get. Then that brings us to Raceworks, which as you guys know, we would not be able to build this 32 without Raceworks. So thanks Raceworks, we're nearly there. Here's all our fittings, all our AN fittings, any size you want is there. All the hoses are in the cupboard. We've got our 19-inch LMGT4s on display. So these are a weird size. So this is something that you would probably put on a R35 or an R34. R34, they would look sweet. They're quite a square, Nismo and Mori, so it is the engraved logo. But they're like, I think they're 19, 9.5 plus 15. So it's quite a square wheel, but it's pretty unique to see that. And of course, everyone loves seeing a Mori logo. I've also got the 18s in a Mori here. So this is a much better offset for a 32, that being plus 22. So plus 22 is almost perfect on a GTR. You can run a 275 on a plus 22 and get away with it. The TEs, which is a crowd pleaser of course, the bronze TEs, these are a plus 30, but I do have 10mm spaces for the GTR from GK Tech, which brings it down to plus 20, which is like right in between plus 15, plus 22, awesome size. Got my cabinet here with all the sensors in it. So every single sensor that's on the GTR is, turn the fan off so we can hear. So all our sensors and all our specialty parts from Raceworks are kept in here. So things like the oil pressure reg, any of the special sort of fittings or clamps all get kept in this cabinet. Now it's a little bit messy at the moment. I just did the turbo speed sensor last night, so that's something which is pretty cool. And a washer there, but that should be perfect there. You can see the sensor, it's meant to be 0.8 of a mil, so I think that's pretty close. That's got to be wired in. We'll tidy that wiring up, of course. I'm not just going to have the red and white in the engine bay, it'll look terrible. But today I'm just going to finish running the fuel lines. I had to do a few modifications to the fuel lines. So initially we were running hard lines in the 32, but because of time limits, and I've had to mount the fuel flex sensor, which has got the dash 8 bypass and the fuel filter. I've had to mount it underneath, and unfortunately I've had to remove the hard lines, and we're just going to run braided lines through for the time being. I'll go back to hard lines after Motor X. I just want to get the car going. It's perfectly fine. In fact, it probably looks a little bit cleaner, so I'll put the hoist up and show you that. We're waiting on a wiring loom from Mitch from Zolly Motorsport. He's just under the pump at the moment, so hopefully we should see that by the end of the week. Once we've got that, we can start the car up. I've got Benny Barnes coming around today to look at an exhaust for the Mustang and just the exhaust pipe to connect it up to the dump pipe. But yeah, should be fun. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. By the way, we reached 1,000 followers. Thanks to you guys. Cheers. Okay, so what we need to do today is finish off running our fuel lines. So here from the other week, we mounted our Raceworks 10 micron fuel filter and also the Dash 8 Raceworks fuel flex sensor bypass unit. So I simply mounted them to a thin bit of, like, I guess 2mm aluminium plate, polished aluminium plate, and then nut inserted it into the floor of the car. But just for today and just for now, we're just going to run Dash 8 braided Teflon. Raceworks has got this beautiful hose. We've got plenty of it in the cupboard. So we are going to run that up. So this one is supply, the other one is return. Now return will come off the bottom of the fuel rail, or sorry, the fuel pressure reg, which is up under there. So we've got plenty of room here to run it, and we'll just sort of run it down through there. I've got to get this plate off today to get it powder coated black. I don't know why it come back blue. I do have an Hollinger oil leak, which is really weird because this is a brand new transmission. Obviously it's an expensive transmission and we've got an oil leak, so I'm not overly happily about that. I'm not sure where it's coming from. It looks like it's coming from where the bracket bolts in, which is even weirder. So we'll get that off and check it out. Okay, so you can see there's the fuel return line off the back of the rail, goes down underneath the intake manifold, and it goes onto the fuel pressure reg there, which is there. Now, we've got our new hose down there ready to be connected, so I'm just going to check to make sure it's at the right length, and then we'll slip under the car and do the rest from there. Okay, so we're just here with Benny working out how we're going to do this exhaust. So Ben's got his phone out and we're just working out that angle. This is like 45. Yeah.
I think it's a 45.
Yep. So we've got a 45, and then we've got a small straight, and then we'll have two V-bang clamps, which will then go onto our Tome or our HKS exhaust. So yeah. So I apologise firstly in this video. I'm sort of just been all over the show with the build, and that's just because I guess the move has sort of just thrown a bit of a spanner in the works, so to speak. I'm super busy outside of work. It has really thrown a spanner in the build, and truth be told, I'm struggling to find the motivation to get this thing finished at the moment. I'm trying to build my own wastegate pipes at the moment, and I've never done that before, so this is me having a go. I've sort of worked out the shapes that I need to do. Got a TIG coming, so I'm not going to say I'm a professional at it or anything, but I'm sure I can get there by learning. Anyway, let's get on with it. So what I do have is some really cool stuff from Darton Racing that I've taken delivery of today. So the first one being CAN bus pad, which, yeah, CAN bus pad holder. So this thing mounts awesomely in the console of your GTR. So if we have a look in here, and then we have a 8-button CAN bus pad right there. So we have all our functions on that, which will be pretty neat. Okay, so this is the M-Tron 8-button CAN keypad. Okay, so this looks like it should fit perfect. I'm pretty sure all the main ECU guys have all got the same 8-button CAN keypad. I'm pretty sure they do anyway, don't take my word for it, but look at that, it's going to fit perfect in there. So we just drop our washers and nuts on up in there, and there we have it. That's absolutely sick. So you can get these 8-button cam pad holders on Anthony's website, so that's Dahtone Racing. So keeping on track with our beautiful OEM sort of plus interior, that is going to work perfect. Thank you, Dahtone Racing, that is sick. Now, that brings me on to the second part that I got from Dahtone Racing, and that's bad boys, which is, I'll show you. I didn't think I was going to need this at first. How we're sort of running, using the Wiggins style clamps and all the intercooler pipes, you don't want too much movement. So we've got a solid engine mount here for an RB motor, and that's going to be on the, oh, it even says it, RB engine mount. So that'll be the passenger side, okay? So we're going to hard mount the passenger side under the turbo. Now the reason for that is just high torque, 800 plus horsepower, you kind of want that engine mounted solid. The gearbox is already mounted solid, the Hollinger gearbox, that mount comes solid. We're sort of just relying on that one Nismo engine mount now to give it a little bit of flex. I think it'll drive fine. If it drives rough or it makes too, you know, it feels too rough through the car, we can always take it out. But let's put it in to start with. Now, I do believe this is a Platinum Racing Products engine mount, but you can get them directly off DartonRacing.com. Okay, so I think I've worked out this fabricating stuff now. So this is the taped up or mocked up waste pipe I've done for the back wastegate. All go well, it'll just go down, and I didn't really want it to go right down and just blow out on one of the steering rack boots. So hopefully this 90 on the bottom of it should be sweet, and I should just be able to cut it off nice and give ourselves a nice sort of shape going out. And of course we want all exhaust flow to go out into the back. I don't want anything burnt. This is not my favorite way to do screamer pipes. Plumb them back in. I know I'm probably an old fucking fuddy-duddy saying that, but they sound just as good plumb back in, straight out the back of an exhaust, if you ask me. I've dismantled half the turbo to give us a little bit of space, so that's the front one there. And then we've got the back Garrett wastegate there. They're both 40mm wastegates, so hopefully this one here will sit right down there like that. It misses the dump pipe, and we'll bolt him up and check it out. So we got this thing all taped up, so that's sort of where I want it. I've bolted it to where I want it to go. Now I'm just going to jump underneath and make sure it's got pretty good clearance. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can just see it coming out there. So I didn't want it coming down onto this steering rack boot. So we'll just twist it that way a bit, like there somewhere. Yeah, there is a guard above this. I'm probably not showing that, above that rack. So it sort of goes like that. But yes, that is firing it sort of into the wheel area. So I'm just thinking, I wonder do we come back further out and down? Okay, so pretty excited. Check out the Built by Legends logo. Dry carbon, handcrafted in Japan. I'm so excited to have this on the car. It must be light. Of course it's light, it's carbon fiber. And you know what, it's funny because, like I've been saying for weeks now, the most janky bit on the car is the hood rod, and I've said that for a while. And what do we all say about crummy parts on the GTR? No one likes crummy parts on our GTRs. So instead we get this badass hood rod. I'm super stoked to have a part by the Built by Legends guys on this car. It just goes to show a high caliber of build we've done here. And for people that have just come on board, our new members, our new subs and that, this car, it's show as well as go. So it's like this fine line between we're building it just for show, but I also want the car to go fast. So we're putting the best parts in the world on it, and that's why we've got this. So this thing is gonna look insane. Look at that, that's cool. Carbon fiber. God, it's been another like 35-degree day plus in the workshop. It's been stinking hot. This has been the first day I've been back on the R32 since we've been in the workshop actually. Run the positive and negative cable since we have relocated the battery to the boot. I've now sort of run it down through here. Got these awesome little billet brackets here, and then I've also got these really cool Raceworks billet brackets, a perfect size for holding the positive and negative lead. Yes, I am running them together. The positive lead I have put in a extra sheath just to protect it, but it sort of did break my heart drilling holes in the bottom of the GTR, but look, it's got to be done. So I've finished running the positive and negative cable underneath the car now, and I'm really happy with how it's come out. Those Racework brackets are they're pretty cool. So I've kept everything nice and straight. This is where I said I've had to change the fuel line. So unfortunately, I've just sort of run out of time, and I wasn't exactly happy with how I had mounted or made them. So I've just run some -8 braided Teflon through for now. It'll get the car going. It still looks awesome, especially in these billet brackets. I need to put my speedo in. I've got to go through my spare parts and find that. I've also got to finish off the French's Performance Garage sensor block. I've got a Raceworks 500 PSI sensor to go in there. We'll have to sort of use one of these side blocks, so the sensor's out there. Then I'll run that back up to the M-Tron, so we've got full Attessa control. ECU Master, PDM coming. Those guys have actually been kind enough to give us a really nice price on a PDM. So we're going to use the PDM to pulse, width, modulate the Attessa. So we're going to have really good control over our four-wheel drive. And if you ask me, the GTR, like it's state of the art it was back in the early 90s with the Attessa control. I don't think anyone's made a map to this date that what Nissan did back in the 90s for the Attessa, but we're going to try and do that. Okay, so yeah, we've got to get this turbo back together. Got a bit to do there, got to get all the sensor wiring and things run for that. Another big decision that I need to make for the car is what exhaust we're going to run. So essentially I've got two exhausts for the car. One is the Tome straight through, the TI Tome straight through. Beautiful exhaust, sounds amazing. Like they're the loudest exhaust you can sort of put on them. Or I've got this beautiful HKS titanium exhaust. Now, if it was just based on looks, it would 100% be this exhaust. It is such a nice exhaust. I don't know how this exhaust will go with the 3.2 litre, the bigger capacity block, but it sounded so nice. Like it's a really quiet exhaust. It's JASMA approved, so that's like the Japanese road regulations, I guess. It's got the nice HKS. Oh, it's just a beautiful exhaust. Really keen to get those on the car. Doesn't matter which one. I just want to see this thing going. But thanks heaps for 1,000 subs. We really appreciate it, both my partner and I. It's really cool. We put a lot of effort into the channel. We've got some awesome content coming. We're gonna have the car going. We'll have some testing, some tuning, getting it ready for MotorX. So stay tuned. Cheers, guys.